This chart shows the current futures market for the 2026 World Cup across North America. When you look at both ticket count and total money wagered, France sits at the top as plus 450 co-favorites, and the focal point of that favored squad is the most feared forward in the tournament, Kylian Mbappé. He arrives in North America with 56 international goals, 12 World Cup goals, and a 20-goal domestic season for Real Madrid under his belt. When a single player accumulates that volume of statistical dominance before his 28th birthday, it creates a high floor for the squad. For this specific group, the historical data suggests that anything less than the trophy in New Jersey would be an underperformance. But the path to that trophy involves friction behind the scenes. Head coach Didier Deschamps is entering his fourth and final World Cup in charge, and he has to navigate a captaincy that is under public scrutiny.
Frank Leboeuf, who lifted the trophy for France in 1998, recently questioned whether Mbappé possesses the mindset required of a captain. Leboeuf argued that Mbappé is too selfish in his thoughts. He described a way of thinking about football that he believes contradicts the values required to lead a national team. France has a documented history of dressing room fractures during major international tournaments. To survive a month on the road, they require a cohesive presence to keep the squad unified under pressure. Reconciling Mbappé's individual drive with the collective needs of the team is one of the primary psychological tests Les Bleus have to clear this summer. On the pitch, the 2026 tournament structure expands the field to 48 teams, meaning the eventual champion will have to survive a grueling 7-match schedule. That structural shift rewards rosters with the most depth. Mbappé is flanked by elite operators to shoulder that load, starting with Ousmane Dembélé, who arrives fresh off winning the 2025 Ballon d'Or. Behind them sits a rapidly emerging generation of attacking depth, specifically Michael Olise and Magnus Akliouche, both coming off massive breakthrough seasons in Europe. Rolling out fresh waves of world-class attackers wears down opposing midfields. It creates a scenario where Mbappé gets to run at exhausted defensive lines in the final 20 minutes of a match. So how does he systematically dismantle those defensive lines when he gets the ball? This tactical map shows his decelerate to accelerate maneuver. He drops his pace to a standstill, baiting the defender closer. This pause forces the defender to check their stride, losing momentum just as Mbappé creates an explosive forward vector. Executing this requires specific physical mechanics. He accelerates powerfully off a planted left leg, while simultaneously sweeping the ball forward with his right instep. It is an incredibly difficult situation for a center back. The move weaponizes the defender's own tactical discipline against them, turning their attempt to maintain proper positioning into a positional liability. While his acceleration is elite, certain defenders have identified the specific timing to mitigate his impact. This technique relies on distance management, as shown here by Virgil van Dijk. The approach depends on 3 precise factors: maintaining a specific distance to avoid being caught on the first touch, angling the body to close off the center of the pitch, and forcing Mbappé into an early decision. Executing those 3 factors over a 90-minute match requires flawless anticipation and immense mental endurance. Looking across the 2026 field, very few opponents have the physical tools to actually maintain that level of concentration. This bracket shows an advantage for France. Landing in Group I alongside Senegal, Norway, and Iraq presents a manageable path, despite Holland's threat. Winning this group secures a projected knockout route, avoiding heavyweights like Spain, England, and Argentina until the late stages. By securing a bracket that keeps the hardest matchups at bay, their attacking advantage compounds. They have the clearest mathematical route to the final. Which brings us back to the stakes for the captain. Mbappé needs exactly 4 goals in North America to equal Miroslav Klose's all-time World Cup scoring record. And if he guides this squad to the title, he will have captured his 2nd World Cup championship before his 28th birthday. That is a trajectory matched only by Pelé. A victory here places Mbappé in the rarest tier of football history. Despite the criticisms surrounding his leadership and the lingering questions about defensive stability, France arrives with the greatest firepower and the easiest path. The stage is now set, the entire world is watching, and the final question remains: can anyone stop Mbappé?